Imagine holding a single coin in your hand that contains so much real silver could buy an entire suit of clothes, a week's groceries, and still leave you change for a steak dinner. Now imagine that same coin was literally dug out of a mountain by men who became richer than European aristocrats almost overnight. This wasn't some distant fairy tale. This was America in the late 1800s. Silver dollars didn't just circulate, they built empires. Yet in one quiet vote in Washington, a vote most Americans didn't even notice at the time, the rules changed forever. And within 20 years, that same mountain of silver that had made millionaires was practically worthless. Farmers lost their land. Banks collapsed. Riots broke out in the streets. All because of a decision that came to be called the crime of 1873. Today we're going back to the era when silver dollars built fortunes, not coffee. And we're going to follow the money, step by step, to find out exactly how America accidentally demonetized one half of its own money supply, and why the echoes of that decision still matter in 2025. Stick around until the end, because the third takeaway is going to hit harder than you expect. Let's start with a question most people get wrong. What metal was the US dollar originally defined in? If you said gold, you're half right, but only half. When Alexander Hamilton designed America's monetary system in 1792, he chose bimetallism. Both gold and silver will be legal tender at a fixed ratio of 15 ounces of silver equal to 1 ounce of gold. The dollar was literally a specific weight of silver, 371.25 grains of pure silver. To be exact, that's why it was called a dollar. It was modeled after the Spanish $1 dollar, a giant silver coin that was the most trusted currency in the world at the time. For the first few decades, it worked beautifully. Silver and gold coins circulated side by side. You could pay your taxes in either. But here's the first twist most history classes skip. The 15-to-1 ratio was already slightly off from the world market ratio, which hovered closer to 15.5 to 1. That tiny discrepancy was enough to make gold quietly disappear from circulation. People hoarded or exported the undervalued gold. And by the 1830s, America was effectively on a silver standard without anyone officially admitting it. Then Andrew Jackson killed the second bank of the United States, and the country went full Wild West with money. State-chartered banks issuing their own paper notes backed, in theory, by silver and gold in their vaults. Everything was poised for chaos, but no one saw where the real explosion would come from. 1859, Nevada Territory. A grizzled prospector named Henry Comstock bullies his way into a claim on a mountain that other miners dismiss as worthless blue clay. Turns out that blue clay is one of the richest silver deposits in human history. The Comstock Lode. Within 5 years, Virginia City, Nevada, becomes the richest city per capita in America. For men, John Mackay, James Fair, James Flood, and William O'Brien. Go from bartenders and day laborers to controlling mines that produce hundreds of millions of dollars in silver, billions in today's money. They are nicknamed the Silver Kings. Mackay alone dies with fortune estimated at over $2 billion in 2025 dollars. Suddenly, the United States is flooding the world with silver. Annual production jumps from $50,000 a year to $300 million a year by the mid-1870s. The market price of silver begins to slide relative to gold, from 15.5:1 all the way down toward 18:1 and still falling. European nations take notice. Germany demonetizes silver in 1871 after winning the Franco-Prussian War and deciding to switch to a gold standard with its reparations gold. France, Scandinavia, and others begin restricting silver coinage. The world is quietly moving away from silver, and America is about to follow. February 12, 1873. A 900-page omnibus coinage bill is making its way through Congress. Buried on page 347 is a minor housekeeping change. The silver dollar, which hasn't been minted since 1806 because it was overvalued and disappeared, is quietly dropped from the list of authorized coins. Almost no one notices. President Grant signs it on February 12th. It is not debated on the floor. Silver is still legal tender, but no new standard silver dollars will be struck. At the moment the bill is signed, silver is still slightly overvalued at the old 16:1 ratio. No one in Congress thinks they are demonetizing silver, They think they are just cleaning up obsolete coins. But within months of continued European demonetization and the endless flood of Comstock silver drives the market ratio to 18 to 1, then 20 to 1, then 30 to 1. Suddenly, silver producers realize what happened. The United States, the world's largest silver producer, has just locked itself out of its own unlimited silver coinage privilege. They scream bloody murder. They coin a phrase that will ring through American politics for the next quarter century: the crime of 1873. With silver demonetized and the country now legally on a gold standard, the money supply can only grow as fast as new gold is mined. But the population is exploding and the economy is industrializing. Result: chronic deflation. Prices fall 1 to 3% a year for 20 years straight. Sounds great if you're a banker holding fixed-rate bonds. Terrible if you're a farmer who borrowed $5,000 at 8% interest when wheat was $1.20 a bushel and now it's 60 cents. Your debt doubles in real terms while your income collapses. Western silver states and southern/midwestern debtor farmers unite in fury. The Greenback Party forms demanding paper money. Then the People's Party, the populists, demanding free silver at 16:1. Their argument is brutally simple. Restore unlimited coinage of silver at the old ratio, and the money supply will double overnight. Prices will rise, debts will shrink, and the common man will finally get relief. Eastern gold bugs call it inflationist lunacy that will destroy the currency. The battle lines are drawn. Congress tries half measures. 1878, the Bland-Allison Act. Government must buy $2 to $4 million of silver per month and coin it into silver dollars. It's a compromise. Silver interests hate that it's limited. Gold interests hate that it exists at all. Treasury Secretary John Sherman calls the resulting Morgan silver dollars those wretched things. 1890, the Sherman Silver Purchase Act. Purchases doubled to 4.5 million ounces per month, essentially all U.S. production, paid for with new Treasury notes redeemable in gold or silver at the Secretary's discretion. For a moment, it looks like free silver has won by stealth. But the act has a fatal flaw. Everyone immediately redeems the notes for gold, draining Treasury gold reserves. Foreign investors smell blood. 1893, panic. Banks fail. Railroads collapse. Unemployment hits 20%. New President Grover Cleveland calls a special session of Congress and forces repeal of the Sherman Act. Gold drains accelerate. The Treasury is within weeks of default. J.P. Morgan and August Belmont step in with a secret deal to sell 3.5 million ounces of gold to the Treasury at a profit, essentially a private bailout of the United States government. The populace are apoplectic. Wall Street now owns the country. The issue finally explodes in the presidential election of 1896. William Jennings Bryan, 36 years old, seizes a Democratic nomination with the most famous speech in American political history. You shall not press down upon the brow of labor this crown of thorns. You shall not crucify mankind upon a cross of gold. The crowd goes insane. Bryan campaigns on free silver at 16:1. Republican William McKinley campaigns on sound money and the gold standard, backed by unprecedented corporate donations orchestrated by Mark Hanna. McKinley wins 51% to 47%. The Populist Party dies. Free silver is dead. Just as Bryan's movement collapses, massive new gold discoveries hit. Klondike, Western Australia, South Africa. The world gold supply doubles in 10 years. Prices finally begin to rise. The deflation ends without a single silver dollar being coined at 16:1. The gold bugs were right about the need for more money, but nature, not Congress, provided it. And in 1900, Congress passes the Gold Standard Act, making the de facto gold standard official. Silver is forever relegated to subsidiary coinage. Dimes, quarters, half dollars with only 90% of the legal silver content. The silver kings are mostly dead or retired. The Comstock Lode is played out. The giant cartwheel silver dollars become curiosities. Look at the same patterns. 2008 to 2020. Central banks flood the world with new money, but it's digital, not silver or gold. Result: Asset price inflation stocks real estate crypto, while wage earners feel squeezed. The exact reverse of the 1873 to 1896 complaint. Today, a pre-1965 silver quarter contains about $5 worth of silver at spot price. You can still spend it for 25 cents. That's the mirror image of Gresham's law in the 1830s. Now bad money, fiat. Stays in circulation, good money, 90% silver, gets hoarded. The crime of 1873 has its modern echo in the quiet closure of the gold window in 1971. No debate, no vote, just a Sunday night announcement by Nixon. Silver was fully demonetized for good in 1965 to 1968, when the last ties were cut. And every time inflation spikes, a new generation discovers sound money arguments that are almost word-for-word copies of Bryan's speeches, except now it's Bitcoin instead of silver. Monetary policy is never neutral. Every decision about what money is creates winners and losers, usually debtors versus creditors, West versus East, Wall Street versus Main Street. The 1873 Act was sold as housekeeping. It reshaped American society for 50 years. Technology and discovery can override politics. Bryan lost the argument, but new gold discoveries gave the country the monetary expansion he wanted anyway. Today, ask yourself, could a technological breakthrough, Bitcoin mining, fusion energy, asteroid mining, do the same thing again? The value of money is a shared belief enforced by law. In 1872, you could walk into the U.S. Mint with silver bullion and walk out with more dollars than the silver was worth on the open market. In 1874, that privilege was gone by a single line in a bill almost no one read. Your money today has value because a legal framework says it does. Change a framework quietly, and everything changes. We assume today's monetary system is permanent because it has lasted our entire lives. But the people in 1872 thought the same thing about bimetallism. The people in 1965 thought silver coins would always circulate. They were wrong. What seemingly boring clause in what seemingly routine central bank announcement or piece of legislation today might future YouTubers call the crime of 20? If this video made you rethink what money actually is, do 3 things. Drop a like. It really does help the algorithm. Tell me in the comments, gold, silver, Bitcoin, or just a dollar, what do you trust most right now and why? Subscribe and hit the bell, because the next video is on the secret monetary panic that almost nobody knows happened in 1933. Until then, keep asking where the money comes from, because once you see the pattern, you can't unsee it.